Rollin Cooler, South Carolina State Constabulary, March 30, 1913. J. Rollin Cooler was one of a long line of coolers. At the time of his birth, dating back at least 5 generations from the area of Bluffton in Okatee, Beaufort County, South Carolina. He was born on August 3, 1875, the eldest child of James Ashby and Sarah Ann Cooler. James A. Cooler, or Shiny as he was called, and Sarah Cooler were first cousins. They would eventually have 8 more children, 2 girls and 6 boys. Eliza, who died as a child, William or Willie Monteith, Eulalie, Harry Benjamin, Irvin Newton, Walter Russell, Carl Ashby, and Ernest Wesley Cooler. In late August 1893, South Carolina was hit by a major hurricane. Coming at a time of a national economic crisis, the effects were cataclysmic. Bluffton and its surrounding area was especially hard hit. The storm destroyed that year's crops and so damaged the soil that the next year's crops would not grow. Outside assistance was slow in coming, and by May of 1894, the farmers in the area, including Shiny Cooler, his brothers and father, were among those who petitioned the general public for emergency relief. So destitute that they feared starvation would soon ensue, the committee formed a Bluffton Township Relief Committee and sent a plea for help directly to Governor Benjamin R. Tillman, to Senator W.J. Verdier, and to newspapers around the state and beyond, including Columbia, Charleston, and the New York World. This may have been a reason why Rollin Cooler as a young man sought employment in other than farming. In 1900, he was still living in Bluffton Township, but had left home and was sharing lodgings with Millage Harvey. Both young men were working as prisoner guards, likely for the county chain gangs. Millage Harvey would later marry Rollin's sister, Eulalie. In 1904, Rollin Cooler married Virginia Augustus Chaplin. They soon had 2 children of their own, James Rollin Jr. and Jenny Cameron Cooler. By 1910, Rollin had returned to farming. Perhaps he didn't enjoy farming, or perhaps he simply enjoyed being a police officer. But on February 24, 1911, Rollin Cooler accepted an appointment by then Governor Coleman Blease as a Bluffton Township Commissioner. Though the title is somewhat misleading to modern ears, these commissioners functioned essentially as rural policemen for the township. The job didn't last long, though, as the South Carolina Supreme Court ruled that the appointments of Cooler and others in the county were made illegally, and they were removed from that office in May of 1912. By the end of the year, however, Rollin Cooler had been appointed a dispensary constable for Beaufort County. Though the despised state dispensary system was abolished in 1907, the counties could, by referendum, continue to operate county dispensaries, still under the oversight of state government. Beaufort County was one of the first 6 counties to vote to retain the dispensary system. Thus, by December 1912, Constable Cooler was making quite a name for himself, capturing large amounts of contraband whiskey and beer on Paris Island near the Naval Station, a barrel of beer and case of whiskey on Bay Street, right in the center of the town of Beaufort, and was, quote, now at work on St. Helena Island and expects to round up much more, end quote. 3 months later, on the evening of March 29, 1913, Constable Cooler and an assistant were indeed on St. Helena Island. Past sundown, they were walking along a road, having done a solid day's work raiding not 1, but 5 blind tigers. The last raid was at a shop operated by Davis Reynolds. Reynolds threatened Cooler several times and followed the constable and his companion as they left the area. As they proceeded toward one of the principal settlements on St. Helena, shots were fired from ambush, striking Cooler in the head and shoulder. Though there seemed little hope from the first, Constable Cooler received what medical aid was available on the island, and 2 doctors were rushed there by motorboat from Beaufort. He lingered through the night and was being loaded on the same motorboat to be taken to a hospital in Savannah, Georgia, when he died at 6 o'clock the following morning. 5 men were arrested and tried for the murder of Constable Rollin Cooler. 3 men were acquitted. 2, Davis Reynolds and Jasper Green, were convicted and given a death sentence. Both were electrocuted for their crime on September 4th, 1913. For his service to and sacrifice for the citizens of South Carolina, we honor State Constable James Rollin Cooler.